You're putting out videos, right? You're consistent, you're putting in the hours, the weeks, probably even months, but that subscriber count, it just isn't moving. It feels like you're shouting into an empty room. Well, what if I told you that all that time and effort you're putting in has almost nothing to do with real subscriber growth?
Okay, let's just let that sink in for a second, because this one idea, it's the whole key. We've all been told that if you just grind it out, if you just keep posting, you'll eventually pop off. But the hard data? Well, it tells a completely different story. Your subscriber count is not some reward you get for just showing up. It's not a straight line up.
So, if it's not about time, then what is it about? It's about structure. That's it. Real, sustainable growth only happens when you build a system, a structure, where a viewer's next action becomes predictable. You want them to watch another video? You want them to subscribe? That has to be the most logical next step for them. Time is just what happens after that structure is working. It's not the thing that causes it.
And look, if you feel like you're spinning your wheels, you're in good company. An estimated 92% of creators who post regularly have fewer than 1,000 subscribers. That's the default experience for almost everyone. This isn't a you problem, it's a systems problem.
So let's talk about this stagnation trap. It's this incredibly frustrating place to be, and it follows a really predictable pattern, where all your hard work just seems to vanish into thin air. It almost always starts right here. You've been at it for a while. You've built up a pretty significant library of content. We're talking over 100 videos. That is a massive amount of work and dedication.
But what do you have to show for it? This, a subscriber count that has completely hit a wall, just hovering somewhere between 100 and 300. The math just doesn't add up, right? So what is actually going on under the hood?
Well, here's the crazy part. Your videos are getting views. People are watching, but the overwhelming majority of them are non-subscribers. Think about that. They're one-time viewers who find a video, maybe watch for a bit, and then they're gone. Forever. They never come back.
And that brings us to the metric that explains everything, the subscriber conversion rate. For channels stuck in this trap, this number is basically frozen at a teeny tiny 0.2 to 0.4%. You know what that means? For every 1,000 unique people who watch one of your videos, only 2 to 4 of them actually hit subscribe. At that rate, you could post a video every single day for a year and you'd barely move the needle. The system isn't just slow, it's broken.
So, why is the system broken? It's not just bad luck. It actually boils down to 4 really specific and super common mistakes that prevent any kind of growth structure from ever taking shape. Okay, here are the big 4. First, just hoping for subscriptions based on goodwill. You know, asking people to subscribe without giving them a concrete reason why they should. Second, your video topics are all over the map. A viewer has no idea what to expect from you next. Third, you're obsessed with the wrong numbers, like just looking at view counts instead of the stuff that really matters, like conversion rate. And finally, the gut reaction when you stall is to just post more, which, ironically, just makes the problem worse.
And this really shows the huge mindset shift that's needed. The failed approach is like running on a hamster wheel. You're putting in the time, you're increasing the quantity, but you're not actually going anywhere. The successful approach makes you an architect. You're thoughtfully building a system that creates predictable, repeatable results. It's all about working smarter, not just harder.
Which of course leads to the big question. We know that only a tiny fraction of creators, maybe the top 2%, actually manage to build this kind of structure and see real growth. So how in the world do they do it?
Well, they do it by putting one of 3 very specific, very actionable growth structures into place. And these aren't just vague tips like make better thumbnails. These are concrete systems designed to actually engineer the viewer behavior you want.
Okay, structure number 1 is all about engineering the subscription itself. First, you focus your whole channel on solving one specific problem. Then, right at the start of every video, in the first 15 seconds, you tease what part of that problem the next video is going to solve. Suddenly, subscribing isn't just a nice thing to do. It becomes a logical necessity to get the full answer. The goal here is to at least double your conversion rate to over 0.8%. Structure number 2 is about engineering a habit. You're not just hoping viewers come back, you're teaching them when and why to return. You lock in a posting schedule. You tell them why it's a good idea to watch as soon as it drops. You use sequential numbers in your thumbnails, so it feels like a series they have to keep up with. This is how you turn random passersby into a loyal audience, and you're aiming for a return visitor rate above 15%.
Now, structure number 3. This one is the most counterintuitive. It's about doing less to get more. I know, it sounds crazy, but you actually cut your posting down to just once a week. Why? Because you're concentrating the algorithm's attention instead of spreading it thin. Then you go back and optimize your top 3 existing videos and build clear pathways between them. Your whole goal is to get your average view duration over 40%. That is the ultimate signal to YouTube that your stuff is worth recommending.
So what happens when you actually pick one of these structures and get it right? What does that growth look like in the real world? Well, it follows a pretty clear and predictable path.
Okay, so check this out. Within the first 3 months, you could realistically double your subscribers to around 600, just by hitting that 0.8% conversion rate. By 9 months, as the algorithm starts to really understand your new structure, you could hit 2,000. And within a single year, you can pass 5,000 subscribers and, crucially, blow past the 4,000 hours of watch time you need for monetization.
But here is the real magic. After about a year of running with one of these structures, your channel hits a tipping point. Your old videos, your back catalog, will start bringing in more new subscribers than your brand new uploads. Your channel literally becomes a self-sustaining growth engine that works for you 24/7.
And that really brings us right back to where we started. You have to stop thinking about just accumulating more time on the platform. Start thinking about how you can build a form, a structure, a system that makes the viewer's time and your time truly valuable, because that, right there, is the only real path to growth.